Go.
Still think I got to jump on you. Although you're beating me badly. Oh, dude, Win98 rocks. That's amazing. So how does this work?
Okay. Well, when we were designing Windows 98, we thought about how we could optimize performance. And what we realized is that processor is really no longer the bottleneck. Memory is also no longer a bottleneck. The biggest bottleneck for performance these days is disk I/O. How fast can you get the information from the hard disk and load it up into RAM?
Yeah.
And specifically, when we looked at that, we realized that the biggest wasted time is in the time that it takes the hard drive needle to search back and forth across the drive looking for the information. And so we said, how can we optimize hard disk performance then? So we went back to the disk defragmenter tool, which is your very basic utility that we had even in Windows 95, but we enhanced it, and we applied some very intelligent logic to the defrag utility, so that now with Windows 98, we actually watch how your programs launch, and we use the defrag utility to make sure that we then put all the files that you need for a specific program together and in order, so they're in one spot in your hard drive, and so the needle is no longer searching all over the hard drive for that information. And in the end, what you see is about an average of 36% faster performance in loading applications.
Yeah. But how does it know, how does this defragmenter know which applications to speed up? Or does it speed up all of your applications?
Oh, well, that's very simple. The more you use the app, the faster it gets. It's true. What we do is we say, the apps that you use the most, those are the most important to you, so we're going to make sure that they're optimized to the best extent possible. So that's basically how we get that performance in Windows 98. Again, your mileage may vary. In the tests we've done some extensive tests, and we've seen an average of 36%. Faster processor, obviously you're going to get a better gain, even if you have that fast processor on Win 95.
And it looks like it was considerably more than 36% in this
Yeah,
case.
some cases will be more, and again, some cases it will be less.
Okay.
Let's move forward.
Good. You know, Win98, you know, and actually BJ, with Win95, the ability to multitask was really cool. You know, I could run lots of applications all at once. But on the, you know, on my typical computer monitor, maybe it's a 17-inch monitor, even if I had a very large 21-inch monitor, even if I'm running all these applications all at once, I can never see all my data on the screen at the same time. And, you know, in my job, I like to run email all the time. I like to see when my messages come in, and I'd like to see that come in, see all those messages, even when I'm working on a Word document or Excel spreadsheet, where I also want to be in full screen mode. So does Win98 have some new features to let me see more information?
Well, with Windows 98, we can actually support now up to 9 monitors on a single PC. So cool. Conceivably, you could have your email on one monitor, and you could have your Excel on another monitor, and to your heart's content, 9 different applications. Now, let's take a look at how this works. So what you see here is we've got 2 screens, and they're actually both attached to the same PC. And let me first show you how the monitors are actually attached. So let's open up the contents of my computer. And what you see here is I'm going to just drag it across onto this other. Whoa, that was, wow.
That's cool.
Woo! So what you see here is I can just drag it across.
Very cool.
And there it is. So let's now go back to your example with email. Say, for example, I've got my email on one screen, and I can see my inbox and my incoming messages, but now I get an attachment. Looks like you just sent me this mail that says, hey, for the latest info, check out this website, Microsoft.com/Windows98. So what I can do is I can click on this link, and you notice it automatically launches on the other monitor so that I can continue to see my email and see any incoming messages. So that's one example of how you can, as a user, can better multitask using your computer. Cool. Now there are some other examples that we can look at as well. For example, a lot of users, they'll have, for example, a Word doc and Excel document open at the same time. And for example, I do a lot of business analysis, and you look here, I've got the worldwide widget summary that I've done for fiscal year to date as of October, so I'm a little behind in my work.
Looks like the Wombats are doing pretty well.
Wombats are doing okay, widgets are doing particularly very well. Wonksters need a little work. But what we see here is that I've done all the analysis in Excel, but now I need to make a nice little business proposal, Word document for my boss, and they hate to look at Excel documents. So it makes it very easy for me with multi-monitor support to write this Word document, because what I can do is I can look at all the information that I have at my disposal here in Excel and then use that as I write this Word document. And now, for example, as I pick which data I want to get, let's say I just want to get this, this high-level summary right here of how we did. And I'm just going to drag it over. Copy here. And so you can see it's I can be much more efficient as I work with multiple applications at the same time because I can see them at the same time. It's very much like having just a big desk like we've got here, and I can spread out all my work.
That's really amazing. BJ, how does it work? How do you make this happen?
Okay, well, for each monitor that you want to have attached to a PC, you need to have a separate video card. And we can, again, support up to 9 video cards on a single PC. Okay, so let's see exactly how this works. I'm going to right-click on my properties for my display settings, go to the Settings tab, and it tells me exactly how my monitors and video cards are laid out. And I'm using Dave's extra monitor here as my second monitor, and then my first is primary here. So I click on monitor 1, it tells me that's monitor 1. Click on monitor 2, monitor 2.
Looks pretty clear to me.
Monitor 1, monitor 2.
Awesome.
Now, since they're driven by their own video cards, they're completely independent. I can set their color depths independently, so this one could be 16-bit, 32-bit. I could go into this one and do the same thing. I can also set their screen resolutions independently, so I could have an 800 by 600 on one or 640 by 480 on another. So for example, web developers have said they've really liked this feature because they can actually do their editing for web content and see what it looks like at a different resolution at the same time. So it really speeds up their production process. Of course, I can also control the physical layout. So for example, if I want to switch the layout here, now, instead of connecting this way, I've got to go back that way. But we're not going to go do that because that's kind of confusing. So we're going to just go back to normal.
And so, BJ, you said you could have support up to 9 different monitors as well.
That's right. Up to 9 on a single PC.
Okay. So, BJ, what we've shown here is that Windows 98 works better than Win 95. And in fact, what we've shown so far in the demo is that we've shown a better ease of use, okay, and better internet integration. We've shown that Windows 98 is smarter with better system tools. It's more self-maintaining, and it also has a higher level of quality, including better productivity with support for multiple monitors. Okay, BJ, let's move on. We're going to take a look now at how Windows 98 plays better, and the first area in which it plays better is in support for better games. Now, we've just looked at how we've got great support for multiple monitors. You know, could a PC gamer actually take advantage of this multiple monitor capability?
Absolutely. I'm going to show you a version of Flight Sim here. This is Flight Sim 98. And what you see is that I'm able to play this game with 2 monitors at once. So I've got my cockpit view on one screen, and I've got a spot view on the other screen. So let me hit the period so I release the brakes, and let's start flying here so you can judge my flying here, which is not optimal, but so we're heading down the runway.
Dude, do you have a pilot's license?
No. Which is why I'm playing Flight Sim. Okay, let's go. Here we go.
We're
taking off.
Stick. All right.
Yeah, this looks pretty smooth. All right. Now we can do some funky things here as well. I can, for example, go and change the view on this to a map view. So I can be viewing, for example, my navigational controls. I can also go to a tower view. So now, the best part, of course, about multi-monitor is that the crashes, if I do crash, are very realistic because you get multiple views of that single activity.
Jeez.
So again, that's an example of how multi-monitor can really take advantage of gaming rather can take advantage of this multi-monitor capability to make it much more realistic.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And you can imagine, for example, a situation where, you know, if you've got an action shoot-'em-up game, you could, you know, for people with like just too much time in their hands, they could put a monitor in front of them and a monitor behind them, and so they're playing here, you know, doing that kind of thing, like looking back and forth as they're playing the game.
You know, so BJ, I notice you've got like about 5 monitors in your office. Are you actually getting any work done?
Oh, you bet. Just don't tell my boss.
Okay. The next area in which Windows 98 is really moving gaming forward is support for really high-quality 3D graphics and much faster graphics. Faster to the point at which, as a gaming platform, Windows 98 is going to be on par or exceed the capabilities of dedicated gaming consoles like the Sony PlayStation, the Sega, and the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, in fact, the Next Generation Gaming Magazine in October rated the PC platform best gaming platform ever over all those other platforms, which for us is really a first. I mean, people always use the PC to play games, but never have we really exceeded them in quality.